I mean, all the stuff that he went through the lead up and now, I mean, Garcia has something something over the mentality and the mindset of freaking Devin Haney.
Welcome, everyone, to Boxing Scene's Top Stories, only on ProBox TV, your boxing channel. I am George D. Metellus. Quick reminder to download the ProBox TV app where apps are available for the full ProBox TV experience. We have a Hall of Fame edition of Top Stories here on ProBox TV. We are joined by Hall of Fame trainer Teddy Atlas and Hall of Fame boxer and ESPN analyst Tim Bradley here on Top Stories. Well, Oscar de la Hoya has floated the name of WBO 140-pound champion Teofimo Lopez for the comeback fight of Ryan Garcia, which can happen anytime after Garcia serves or finishes serving his year-long suspension, which ends April 20th. All right, Tim, is this going to be just an incessant string of names before an opponent is actually decided for Ryan Garcia, or is Lopez the most likely opponent, given the fact that he has a little bit of a dispute going on with Top Rank and could use a big money fight?
Look, I don't know, to be honest with you. I really don't know. I think that Lopez's name was brought up, I would say about a year ago to Ryan Garcia, and they turned it down, if I'm not mistaken. But I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. I mean, Teofimo Lopez is due for a big fight, a big prize fight. And, both these guys, you already know that Ryan Garcia is very marketable, have a huge fan base. Anytime he gets into the ring, everybody's going to be watching. And Teofimo Lopez, he's very brash, very skillful, 140-pounder. I don't know what weight they're going to fight at if they were to fight each other, because Garcia already said that he's not going to make 140 pounds. And I believe Teo has the WBO 140-pound strap. So it probably have to be at the catch weight or even at 147 pounds. We've even heard Teofimo Lopez talk about fighting Crawford. He wants to go up to 54 and face Terrence Crawford. So, I mean, he's ambitious. He wants a big money fight. I wouldn't mind seeing him get in there with Garcia. I think it'll be a good, entertaining fight. It's a fight that I believe that Teo can win. Ryan Garcia isn't no slouch, though. He got that left hook, so, he can turn anybody's lights out, but I wouldn't mind seeing that fight, and I think the fans would definitely clamor for a Teofimo Lopez and a Ryan Garcia matchup when he returns.
Yeah, Teddy, what do you make of Oscar de la Hoya floating the name of Teofimo Lopez as the next opponent for Ryan Garcia?
He's a promoter. Do I need to say more?
No. Yeah, there you go. So
look at that great smile with Timmy. I'd do anything to get Timmy to show that great smile. It's one of the greatest.
With the gap.
It's just a great smile. But look, promoters do that. Promoters, fighters fight, right, Tim? And promoters promote. Yep. And part of promoting is floating names out there, and floating names that is significant. That makes sense, that could get Timmy to talk about it in a realistic way and get me to talk about it. Yeah, Teofimo Lopez, very talented guy. I mean, Teofimo Lopez is as talented, really, as pure talent. He's got as much talent as anybody. The thing is, you never know which guy's going to show up, and yeah, I mean, he can be hot and cold sometimes. When he's hot, he's good as anybody. He's got everything. So, I mean, there are some technical things he could get a little bit better at. I guess we all could. But at the end of the day, these are two talented guys. Timmy just touched on it. Ryan Garcia, very talented. Needs to get his life in order. Hopefully during his suspension, he's gotten his life in order where he's in a good place, he's in a stable place, he's in the right place. I think we would all wish that for anybody, that they're in the right place, that they're in a healthy place. And I hope that that's the case. Very talented guy, two talented fighters. Yeah, but who knows till you know? Because, again, promoters promote, fighters fight. At the end of the day, there's a lot of guys that you would like to see either one of these guys in there with. I think people are really going to be more looking to see who Ryan Garcia fights because of the way the last fight ended, with all the controversy and everything else. And he pulled off a upset that most people thought Haney was going to win the fight going in. Haney's people thought maybe that was part of the problem. They thought they were going to go right through Garcia, and obviously that did not happen. So I think that there's more probably once it gets to that day when he's ready to come back. There's probably more suspense around and speculation around who Garcia is going to fight because of the way the last fight ended. Yeah. Even though he won, it ended with obviously with a lot of controversy. So I think a lot of people want to see him in a fight and say, okay, what do we have? What do we have here? And
well,
we'll have Coach, to wait for that day.
Coach, I got a question for you. Okay. Ryan Garcia hasn't fought for a belt yet. At all. Hasn't participated and fought for a belt yet. Do you think that's important for his career? Because, I mean, he has, again, a fan base. He's making millions and millions of dollars because I'm looking at it like, look, he fought Tank. He was basically squeezed down to 130-something pounds. He was half of himself in that fight, and Tank stopped him. And then he was blown up 43 at 43 pounds against freaking Haney. He wins that fight, but now I guess it's not even a no contest now. I don't even understand how that got removed from Haney's but that's not even here or there. So, I mean, 147, there's really, I mean, the only guy that's there is Boots. There's a couple other guys there. I mean, is the belt important or is it not?
That's a great question. That's a question that only really a guy that understands boxing inside and out and has participated to the level that you have could really truly understand why it's a relevant question and a relevant question. And no, not with this guy. That's the funny thing. Usually the belt is everything, but you bring up a really good point. When there was certain fighters that it didn't even matter if they won their last couple fights. Arturo Gatti, because of what he gave you, because of what he gave you. He was the cardiac kid. He was gonna give you nothing but action, nothing but theater. Mike Tyson, another guy, he could lose fights at the end, but people still watched him. Why? Because of what he brought beyond that, just the anticipation that you might see a flashback of what once was, that the destruction, knockouts, all that stuff. I think that Garcia now is in a place, really interestingly, where usually you unfortunately have to be attached, or it helps to be attached to a belt. He don't have to, because he has such a huge base, such a huge following, and because of the controversy, because of everything, because of what happened in the Haney fight on a world stage, that now people just want to see him. And I think that the way I ended it before, they want to see what's what. What is he really? What is he really? Is he the guy that, just moved Haney around like a rag doll in some rounds where, he's just too big, too strong? And we understand the controversy of being all the things that were attached to that. All that. Yes. But that's what I mean. Now people want to see Tim. What is he? What is he really? Can he do that to someone else? Is that him? Is that him? Is he the guy that can, ragdoll guys? Or is he not? And I think that's got nothing to do with having a belt. That's got to do with what happened and with curiosity.
So let me ask you this, Tim. You think Haney gets the rematch with Ryan Garcia once his suspension is over? It seems to me that's kind of the angle here, especially if you're Haney. You want to kind of redeem yourself against someone who, obviously with the controversy with the PEDs, and then came in, he didn't make weight for that fight either against Devin Haney. So if you're Devin Haney, don't you want that rematch? That should be what you're angling for, right? Is that the thinking here?
That was a brutal ass beatdown. That beatdown was brutal. I mean, going right into a rematch, that doesn't make any sense to me. And I understand the Haney's want to get back. I mean, the rematch can happen a year from now. They can happen 2 years from now. I mean, come back, have a nice little comeback fight, get your feet wet a little bit, Haney. You know, take it on the chin, take it on the chin. See if you can take it on the chin. You know, see if you haven't lost that ability because again, he took some big shots in that fight against Ryan Garcia, man. And you know, you want to test that out. You got to test that out first before you go back into the ring and having to face those demons. And now they're having even outside battle, you know, in the courtrooms on top of that. It's so much psychological stuff going on. That's a fight. If I was a Haney, if I was managing him, I would say, we'll hold off. That fight will always be there. You know what? We're going to move in this direction. We'll defend our title here. We might fight another title holder over here, Liam Paro or something. And then we'll come back and we'll see Ryan Garcia when all the dust has kind of settled. So
I agree with Tim 100%, and nobody could speak on it better than Tim. He came back from that dark place. He came back from that place where the lights were out. Provodnikov. Nobody. I mean, think about it. And he came back from that, so nobody could speak about the reality of what a fighter is feeling and thinking when they're in that place. And I'll leave it with this, with that, from a trainer's perspective, where there was a reason why over all the years in this business, and I go back to the old timers, you know, where they did it the right way, I believe. I mean, back in the day, they really apprenticeship. They were in the sport. They really know. Some of these guys today, I'm not pointing anyone out, but they throw a towel on their shoulder, and all of a sudden they're a trainer. I'm like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh gee, what is that towel for? To wipe your hands off? For what were you doing something on the car earlier? I mean, what are you what are you doing? But anyway, I digress. You know, the old time trainers, there was a reason why when a guy had a brutal fight, and especially if, you know, the guy got knocked out, and there was a reason why they would do a comeback fight that was a tune-up fight, what's the word? I'm blanking on the word we used to always use, where you had to have that before you go into another big fight, or obviously a rematch, but before you go into another big fight after you had a devastating loss where you took physical damage, that you would
just rebuilding.
Yeah, you'd have to have that tune-up. You'd have to have that one fight that was a softer touch. That just that one. And a lot of people didn't really understand. The old timers did though, but a lot of people, and I learned it, didn't understand what it really was for. They thought it was more just for only the physical part. Yeah, it was part of it, but it was for the mental part.
Yep.
Just to let the fighter know himself. Forget about you. Forget about the cheerleaders. Forget about the training. You know, Tim, they're saying, you're good, champ. You're good. You're okay. Don't worry. Let's go. You're fine. Yeah, but you got to know you're okay. And those fights were for the fighter to know that he's okay, because the last time he was in the ring, he wasn't okay. No, so he needed to find out for himself. Yeah, I'm okay. I still, as Timmy said, I can still take a punch. I can still behave like a fighter. I can still do this. That is what those fights were for. And that's why over the generations, they always would have those tune-ups.
Look, coach, he can have a tough fight, but just not with that guy. Because that guy he's mentally over him, period. I mean, all the stuff that he went through the lead up and now, I mean, you know, Garcia has something over the mentality and the mindset of freaking Devin Haney. So
if I'm coaching him, if I'm bringing him back, Tim, I'm not bringing him back with a puncher. I don't care who the guy is, but you know, I want a guy that, you know, is not a banger. You know, I'm not saying I got to go and find, as Paulie, our man Paulie Malignaggi always says, I don't say you got to go find an Uber driver, but you know, and look, some Uber drivers are tough, so I'm not insulting anyone out there, but you got to find someone who's not a big banger, you know, and that's the way I would do it if I had anything to do with it. Again, because you do want him to find his footing again. You want him just to know him, not you. You could stand there all day and say, you look great. You look great. You're good. You're back. But you have to know it.
But Teddy, some people will argue because I know they be on me in the comment section. I fought after Ruslan Pavatnikov. I fought against Marquez right after that. Crazy, right? Crazy. Like what is I'm think? What are you thinking, Tim? Well, you know why I did it, right? I did it because I knew that was the guy that I needed to get me sharp, to make me scared, to make me worried, to make me not sleep at night, to make me make sure that I crossed my T's, dotted my I's, that I went back to boxing, went back to my roots. That guy made me focus. It was a different guy. I didn't go back and fight Ruslan Pavatnikov. Absolutely not. No, I fought a different guy that'll get me on the straight line. So for Haney, I'm saying, look, you can take a softer touch. Just don't go back right away and fight that guy. Fight another fight beforehand and then go back and revisit that,
100%.
that guy in Garcia.
But I'll leave it with this. Not everyone has Tim Bradley's mentality. Where I'm just telling you, not everyone has that.
Trust me, I'm still thinking about coming back. I mean,
Tim,
140.
Timmy, stop.
Coming back.
Timmy, listen, stop. If that phone rings, I ain't picking it up.
I'm thinking about coming back. George Foreman came back. I'm gonna come back. Ryan Garcia, you need a dance partner. I'm your guy.
Go get a grill.
Go get a grill. Well, if Tim Bradley comes back, we will have all that information. He'll talk about it here on Top Stories. We'd like to remind you to scan the QR code, like, subscribe, and comment. Leave your comments about what we talked about in the comment section. And also download the ProBox TV app where apps are available, because on the app you can watch our November 1st fight card, our European debut, live from Belfast, Northern Ireland. McCrory versus Carrillo is the main event. You definitely don't want to miss it. ProBox TV going across the pond to Northern Ireland. Should be a great fight card. I am George DeMatteis, and this is Boxing Scene's Top Stories.
November 1st, ProBox TV makes its European debut in collaboration with Conlan Boxing. This stacked card starts with hometown fighter Padraig the Hammer McCrory returning to the ring to take on the hard-hitting Colombian Leonard Carrillo. And in the co-main, the UK's Robbie Davies Jr. clashes with former two-weight world champ Javier Fortuna of the Dominican Republic. Live from the SSE Arena in Belfast, Northern Ireland.
For more ProBox TV, scan the QR code on the screen or go to the App Store and Google Play. ProBox TV, your boxing channel.